I want to inspire the audience watching this now to vlog your life every single day. Even if you don't yet have a purpose for exactly what niche you want to experiment, there's no harm in you picking up the phone and picking up your iPhone. We can do it in any device nowadays, there's no excuse. I want to make sure this will inspire at least one person today to just pick up the phone and make a change. Because if, for example, yeah, they don't do any paid advertisement, right?
Yeah.
One thing you could then do with this data is in Facebook, resellers room at the moment is different. So Mason, question one.
Yeah.
If you used to open a barbershop, how would you differentiate your service from every other barber?
I think you have many different aspects to it, right? And the whole thing of going to a barbershop has got to be the experience.
Yeah.
If you have a good enough experience, if you do good enough level of service with the haircut, 9 times out of 10, that's why people have gone there, right? But if on top of that, that's where you build lifetime value and you're going to have returning customers forever. They physically won't go anywhere else, right? So that's what you kind of have to do. I think that's what you have to do with a barbershop. Yeah. So like I mean there, even with the way he sees me, super good experience. Fired up my day with his big smile, right? So I think that's one of the biggest ways. And then you have to probably work out what your demographic is that you're going for and really double down on that. People love convenience, so you have to make sure that it's easy to get to. I think what is one of them. So location would be a big thing. And like I say, how it makes people feel. You know, if I come into this barbershop, everyone is greeting us here today with a handshake and they don't even know you yet. A couple of them greet with my first name, and I've only been here once.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think definitely the level of experience and trying to shine out in that endeavor. What would you say, if anything, on top of that you think you might be able to?
So my cousin basically said to me yesterday, yeah, I want to set up an aesthetics business in Dubai, but she said there was 6,000 competitors on the same road, all trying to sell the same service. And I said to her, you can never actually, you can't look at competition as an objection to starting a business.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I was like, if you was to focus on your short form distribution strategy for your content creation, you'd attract more clients than any one of your competitors if you doubled down on content. Obviously ensuring that the quality of the service is still good. You could have a service that fulfills to a customer satisfaction ratio of 50%, right? And you could have a competitor that does 75%. However, the one that's doing the 50% in deliverability, like if they've got a 5x output on content and the short form distribution strategy is clearer and more engaging, they will make 10 times more money.
Yeah.
Factually.
The traffic.
So if I was a barber, what would I do? I'd set up a gimbal in the corner that records every single haircut all day. I'd have the mic on the clients and I would be recording the haircuts with the mics on and also recording some of the funny conversations that you have with the clients.
Yeah.
Also having another shot set up as well behind. And what I do is I'd use TikTok as a learning system. So I'd type into TikTok, haircut for men, and then I'd filter it by the last 7 days, filter it by the most viewed, and then I would recreate the top 7 most performing, highest viral clips specifically for that niche. And 100%. I would constantly, a metric that I follow with, you know, like exactly what goes viral at what time and just be constantly being aware of the trends.
100%. So was mainly talking about an in-house barbershop. The second thing that I think would enable things to blow up is doing outbound, like high profile people outreach and trying to spin them on coming in to get a haircut and getting a repost story. Because even simple things like that can just ignite the fire on top of, if you've got a sick social strategy and everything's built out, looking smooth, like I say, it's almost having the feeling portrayed then through the content. So people have the pre-feeling of before they even come in about what they're about to get, and then they can just go from there.
Bro, I'm telling you now, yeah, if this barbershop had a social team, yeah, and every single barber had a camera set up alongside with the mics with a back office in this shop with editors inside, like I'm telling you now, they would blow faster than ever before, because each and every barber would have an affiliation like within the brand username. So say if the barber shop's called, what's the barber shop called, boss? What's the shop called?
Glance,
the name of it?
Luxury?
Yeah, Glance. So you'd have, let's say, Ahmed by Glance or, you know, Jack by Glance. Each barber would have their own affiliation set up to it, and then it'd all be following the same social strategy all at once.
Super consistent across the lot. Bro, you know what you could do? But you could add in little tweaks for different types of content. Of course, say, for example, 4 or 5 different barbers when the traffic's high enough. And then whichever one you see working most, you've just got like 5 different split tests that essentially you can run. And obviously 100%. The most dominant
I think as well, like it all comes down, especially with brick and mortar businesses. A lot of the time, outside of socials, it all comes down to footfall. So location as well obviously plays a critical role in the amount of clients you do come through the door. But I think we're living in an era now where anything in any niche with the right content strategy, you're gonna blow up, bro. It's as simple as that, bro. Like I've seen it firsthand. Like I've seen the impact it has on the lead generation and the amount of clients that come through the door. It's the biggest and the most important thing within any personal or e-commerce brand.
Would you say in today's day and age that is definitely one of the biggest levers in business?
It's the number one lever, bro.
Yeah.
It's the number one lever. Because people get sick of seeing you, bro. And it comes to the point where they engage with you that much, like they have no option but to buy.
Yeah.
It's like when you look at Hormozy or you look at, let's say, Ty Lopez, or you look at Iman, right? The guy is never off your For You page. And the reason why you can't convert most clients into an offer is because they can't remember who you are. Or alternatively, other objections are lack of trust or lack of funds.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So that's because now you've got such a high amount of trust from so many touch points.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like you could have watched a VSL on Iman 3 years ago from now, and you'll remember seeing then him on TikTok 2 years later. Like, and being familiar with watching that video. YouTube have the highest quality leads over any other platform because you build an emotion, and the retention is a 300, 400x on what TikTok is. No one ever
100%.
deeps that. No one ever deeps that, bro.
Nah,
TikTok,
so
bro.
big.
TikTok retention on average is 12% on any short form clip in less than 15 seconds. Like YouTube, in contrast, is your viewers are engaged and retained for the whole video. So they're starting to build equity with you as a personal brand now.
I think there's another thing as well what you have, because especially like say, even in somewhere like here, you can really rinse out short, long, medium form to an extent, right? Have like barbershop clips where it's like this person came in and you had some jokes, or like this person came and had a serious conversation, or listen to my client's problem and how the barbers solved the problem, or something. Like there's so many different ways that you can put out entertainment and spin entertainment on the barbering side of things as well. And you can even go down the technical route. So now you have both people who are almost looking for it, and you can kind of get such a wide sort of target area of the market share, of just hitting every different aspect. So I was saying for barbers, say for example, they might want to watch how to do a taper fade. They might want to come in and see it in person. Eventually, just from seeing it online so much and knowing that it's such a good environment, they've got the ability to come in and just watch for a day or something like this.
Do you know what it is as well? It's also the post-purchase follow-up in order to build CLTV. So what I mean by that is, if you come in from TikTok, right, or you've come in from, let's say, a viral Instagram reel into this specific barbershop, like how do they then handle your data post you having the service? So this is a good test today. Like, are they going to require our phone number or the email address? Like, are they going to create as a consumer profile to also look at how frequently I'm then coming in as a client to then come back to get a haircut? So it's also understanding what metrics and like post-purchase follow-up behaviors you can then identify from the customers using qualitative and quantitative data. So what I'd be wanting to know is, how frequently does the customer come back in for a haircut? What's the average spend? What type of haircut did he get? And also, could we upsell him to any other service, such as potentially a facial massage or any other products in store? Did we have somebody who tried to sell him a specific item? So, like, then you can use that data to then forecast exactly what new inbound leads are going to look like alongside CLTV.
Yeah. Now you can just optimize aspects of it just to ensure that everything's always being pushed to the
learning
furthest.
system, bro.
But there's probably a way that you could implement then to add on top a machine learning program. This is all more on the higher level. Or once you've actually collected, say, manually a lot of that data, to then just go push that through, and so you can almost just get a spat back out of what exactly that data would look like.
Well, this is the thing,
without even like manually reviewing it.
Like with let's say for example, they don't do any paid advertisement, right?
Yeah.
One thing you could then do with this data is in Facebook Ads Manager, you need a minimum of, I believe, 500 emails in order to create a lookalike audience for a specific ad campaign. So what you could also do is then, after you've acquired that first 500 initial new clients, push them their emails into a Facebook lookalike audience, and that will automatically use an Advantage Plus, which is Facebook's AI, create you the ideal consumer, optimized customer audience.
Yeah.
So it's like every single thing that going from short form has an impact on footfall into the business. Footfall then has an impact on the actual deliverable with the haircut itself and the post-purchase follow-up with then the data you acquire from the client. And then the data that you acquire, you can then use to forecast alongside using it as leverage for your ads profile. So it's like a domino effect. Do you know what I mean?
So would you say, is that why you ran, is that why for the first part of, if I'm looking at it from the outside in with your business, for example, you ran the deep in detail, like content, social strategy first. And then now secondly, you've looked at, okay, right, now I can start figuring out the ads after.
Yeah, that's for trends though. Trends is in that phase now. Resellers room at the moment is different. Like for trends, what we needed to understand is exactly like how we could manage the customer service. With that amount of many inbound leads coming in, like a lot of the manual requests that are coming in are what go yard bags have you got, or what kind of the goose jackets do you have? So it's then like understanding based on the leads that we acquire, how do we then manage and handle that customer inquiry from steps A to Z? So when for example now, new client inquiry comes in, Sam then fills a form in on behalf of the customer with exactly what product they're looking for, and then he then has lead in progress, lead won, lead lost, alternate options sent to client. But we had to optimize every stage of the customer journey before then pushing a budget into it. There's no point in trying to like scale and put budget into things to acquire more customers when you haven't got the back end of the current infrastructure in place.
Like fulfillment on lock.
Yeah, you've got to have the fulfillment on lock, because otherwise you're going to be paying for leads to then fuck up the customer service. So what I did with Sam is I told him, I was like, look, ring LV up and inquire on a product as if you're a customer. And you write down exactly in this exercise how this Louis Vuitton sales agent managed your inquiry. And then I want you to build a script and feed it back to me on what like the key areas of sales points were in the call. And then he then rolled that out in trends.
Wow. So that's another thing as well we could do, even, for example, for a barbershop, is just look what are currently the leading with social strategies. Like you say, when you looked online before, if you go to look on TikTok and optimize to find the highest virality ones in line with also ones that actually have a core solid page, and then running the same thing and actually going and visiting their shops as well and seeing what they're doing different, or sending like 4 or 5 of the different barbers and building out things that they need to look for, and then you bring it all into your shop here. And there might be some people might have USPs that are unachievable or unattainable for certain reasons, but for example, you would just be able to get at least many of the main key points, bring them in-house to your store, and now no matter what happens, again, like you're going to get the level of service that is above 90%, and that's good enough to take a high market share.
And I think, what most entrepreneurs neglect, and I've said this before, like just doing a very, very brief competitor analysis instead of trying to reverse the will. Like in any niche, you can find exactly the market leading content distributors. So if I wanted to scale a personal brand, who would I look into? I'd look into Luke Belmar. Why? Because he produces a clip every 20 seconds and has 4,000 accounts under management.
Wow.
So why would I not look at the guy who's executed it to the highest level? Same again with Iman. Like, all you need to do is study what other people are doing and what is working for them, and just to recreate exactly that, and you see results. The same in a business. Sense. Why am I going to go and try and build a website that is completely built from scratch with all of these crazy, insane features? From my perspective, emotionally thinking that that's going to be the best customer experience from like a user interface's perspective. Why would I not look at my competitors that are doing 50+ mil a year and imitate exactly their tech stack?
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
There's no point. Like, they've already spent all the money in research and development. They've already spent the budget into innovating these concepts.
Like, great artists copy, good artists steal or something. Like, there's literally out there to steal.
Yeah.
And you can steal, but you can take a little bit of each pie and just put it all into your own. And now, to an extent, it's going to be what you want, because it's going to be a working machine. And that's what you want at the end of the day. It doesn't need to look all fancy and in line with, okay, right, you're going to have some thoughts on what your branding, etc. is going to be. But at the end of the day, you would rather something that works. And at the end of the day, it's business, the thing that you're trying to grow. Or if you just want to egotistically try and prove a point, it's not really worth it. No one's here for that short-term run.
I think this is just bringing me on to say now, that's a great point. I want to inspire the audience watching this now to vlog your life every single day. Even if you don't yet have a purpose for exactly what niche you want to experiment, there's no harm in you picking up the phone and picking up your iPhone. We can do it in any device nowadays. There's no excuse. I want to make sure this will inspire at least one person today to just pick up the phone and make a change. Because the thing is, you can look back at all of the content that you produced and you can use this as a journal to document exactly how your life is transformed. And you'll be able to then watch back these videos in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time from now and see exactly what the biggest crucial moments for you were within your journey. And I think
100%.
that it's like there's just, it doesn't cost anything to do it. Like you're literally doing it anyway. And you know what it is? I saw Joe Rogan once say, like, when you know you have to perform on camera, you are going to be a better version of yourself. Because right now I've got to be an actor regardless. Even if I'm not feeling great, like, I've still got to make sure I perform on the camera. I still got to make sure that I think strategically and I can try and provide value for you guys and build almost a connection online through this beautiful lens. So
exactly that.
Not only will you outperform yourself, like, you're also going to be building an online presence and an online platform with a group of people who are part of your culture. And even if right now you don't want to sell something in particular, like, at least later down the line, you'll have the option to, because you've got that network there, and this will open up many other doors as well and pathways to you speaking to other entrepreneurs.
That's the thing as well. Like, you'll start to open doors that you didn't even know were available to you in life just yet. Like I say, like after the weekend we just had, just through us building a connection in Manchester, I started building a personal brand to a small extent, looking to double down on it now. You open so many doors. I've connected with so many online entrepreneurs, especially in a place like here, Dubai. But you get to, have the opportunity at least. Like, the door becomes available to you. Imagine you're walking down a corridor and it's dark at the very end. The lights will start opening the bigger it builds. But like, you didn't even know that was available to you. And so like, you don't actually know what you don't know. And it's the butterfly effect. Start now. It grows so much significantly, exponentially. And people don't understand exponential growth, especially with social media, especially when you start picking up, optimizing and refining. It then transfers to other aspects of your life. And now you not only meet bigger people, have bigger conversations, like being invited to bigger meetings, that then opens up opportunity for business, and people can start relaying their thoughts in a simple conversation like we're having today at the highest level about different ways they can apply the level of knowledge to their business, things that they was doing wrong that they might not even know they're doing wrong, or just having the different perspective. Like, the best thing I always think is like being able to have the opportunity to meet other entrepreneurs in different fields. I don't necessarily speak to every single person in my field, because sometimes I have different business applications from ways that they're having success that I can actually bring inside here, and it would be an innovation in my field. And that way you just blow past the competition.
Mate, this content's sick. Isn't it?
Yeah, I told you it's a good idea. They say we need to do it, should have just done it. But definitely just, the thing is as well, like you say, go and buy a big power bank and just put all the content there. Maybe you don't see it for you. That's one of my biggest regrets, is the fact that, look, when I was coming up, I always knew I was going to make it. I know I'm always going to make it. I still know I'm not nowhere near my potential. Like, this is literally just a part of the journey, and a very early one at that. Like, if I had been recording of what my life was actually like, 2 years ago, when I was sitting there in the garden shed, fucking around, but just making business moves happen at level, like, I didn't even know what I was doing, but I knew it was in the positive direction. I would have been able to look back, and now I'd not only be able to look back and show the world what's possible from nothing, but look back and see, okay, well, where was I actually going wrong? What could I have done differently then? And now how can I implement that into my current life to make sure I'm scaling at the fastest rate possible? There's always going to be lessons when you look back, analyze, and then look to just go again. And obviously there's a level of, looking back and sort of having a reflection, but then it is just about, cool, what's the move? Now make it. And just
what's so mad as well? Like, bro, the fact that we can actually share these moments now and inspire other people.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I was just deep in it then when you was talking then. It's crazy to me that online we can use these cameras and we can actually inspire someone else who's not yet doing something to then go and take action on something.
Yeah, hopefully we can turn a consumer into a producer today. And
like, bro, like, that's such a mad thought, I just was deep in it then. I was thinking, like, you actually get so many good deeds from making content, the right content. Literally.
You think about all the knowledge that we've put out, look, even backhandedly, there's gems inside of here that we just spoke about. Even on like the smallest level, we haven't even gone into detail on things. But just like what touches the surface on things that people might just be able to think like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I never actually thought about a way that I could increase foot traffic to my brick and mortar business. And I need to take my social strategy more seriously. Now they might go ahead and do that. And they might do 2 hours
Yeah, if a
tonight
barber
of competitor
actually watched
analysis.
this, if a barber actually watched this, bro, they would be like, yo, if I set this up and roll it out, you know what, if any barber watches this video and actually executes the strategy we just spoke about, I will personally fly you and your team out to Dubai to come to this barbershop to do a collaboration.
Yeah.
Done.
Literally.
I swear.
I will personally shout your guys' socials out as well and look myself where you feel, I feel like you could optimize your social strategy, just help you out for free. But like I say, like, there is so many ways that people are just not tapping into it now. I think it comes from, do you know where it comes from? Two types. There's one, people just genuinely don't know. Like, people might have been watching this video here today and we just opened that door for them about the social strategy that they didn't even know existed. So boom, just from consuming a bit of content in the right way, now their eyes are a little bit more opened. Next thing they're going to then go and do is implement it, and now they're going to open even more doors that they didn't know was existing. So it's just like I say, the net positive butterfly exponential effect, which can be put in place and just absolutely fly with. And then you don't even know what in 1-2 years time. Imagine you was on this for 2 years. What comes from it then? You might be able to exit the barbershop business for a very healthy amount.
With you having a sacrifice in time as an entrepreneur, how do you feel that impacts like the amount of time you can spend with your family, and how do you like handle that?
Yeah, I think that's a huge one, because my family are very understanding. They know that I'm on the right path and they've seen the crazy things I've been able to do in a short time frame. As you saw in the last few days, I still very much connect with my family and call them on a very consistent basis, especially when I need them there the most. They have always been there for me. And it goes back the other way that if they need anything, that they know I'm one phone call away and I can help sort things out. But now I can help sort things out because they've given me that time freedom and they know I haven't fucked things up, that I'm now able to help them out with things that they might not be so proficient in. For example, financial sort of ability. Right? They know that I'm doing this for the greater good for not only me, but for my family. And I've got the long-term vision. But I'm actually one of the few people in my family who've been able to execute it. And so they just want to come on a more supportive flex because they know in the long term it will probably benefit them. But at the same time, I think you sometimes do have to. And the most rewarding thing you can do as an entrepreneur is go ahead and just take 1 to 2 hours out of your day. Fuck the competitor analysis, fuck the restructuring of your teams, call your nan, call your granddad if they are still alive, and just check with them and see how they are. If you can go and visit them in person, I promise you that time there will be 10 times more rewarding than hitting any financial target or big business goal ever. And that's one of the biggest things that I did. Every month, 2 weeks, I'll call all of my family members, just checking with them. And because it doesn't even have such a positive impact on my life, it will have a 10 times positive impact on their life. Because at the end of the day, I'm checking, despite my busy schedule, I'm tapping in and checking in with them.
Yeah.
How would you say that you could handle it? Or you might even be able to handle it better sometimes. And what, looking back, potentially to look forward, you might implement now to make sure that it is in line with what you want and who you are?
I'd say I always used to make the excuse of not being able to find time for family for reasons of being on trying to grow my business. It's, I'm too busy with the X, Y, and Z. And then I think over the last few months, it's been a huge reflection point, because the way I see it now is that when it comes to Christmas, right, and this is a really, really poor way of viewing it, but it makes it go so much more into realization. But say my nan's 85, yeah?
Yeah.
And I see her once a month, right?
Yep.
That means if she, let's say, passes away in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm only going to see her another 100 more times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
When you think of it like that. So I think there's no excuse to use for the ones that you love.
Yeah, especially like I say, look, if you can't be there in person, if you do have commitments, whatever it is, a simple phone call will change things massively.
Yeah, or just even one thing I did, bro. Yeah, never did this in my life before. About 6 months ago, and it was my ex-girl that taught me this method. Sure. And basically, she had a family group chat set up where she'd had her aunties, her mum, and her dad, X, Y, and Z. And I thought, why haven't I got a family chat set up with my nan, my brother, my mum, and my dad? So when she told me about that, I was like, that's pretty sick. I need to centralize my communication with my family and send them photos and things that are going to make them smile.
Wow, efficiently optimize that system, to make it easier so you can do an outbound broadcast to the family.
Yeah,
check in with all of them. Like I said, it's about having a phone call with on one-to-one, yeah, it's on a much deeper personal connection. But sometimes you might go teach a nan how to use FaceTime and just have a little group FaceTime call with a few of the family members.
Literally.
Like I say, for me personally right now, especially with being out here, that's one of the, I suppose, big things that I face. And the other time is when I do go back to the UK, obviously I will feel guilty. The fact that, okay, I've spent a little bit of time from the business, but you shouldn't feel that. I think about having understanding business partners, etc. Even when I go back to the UK, it is a little bit hectic because I'm now still on top of business, but it's about, you know what, getting your business to the level where you have the ability to do that. And because now I know and I've seen what is available and possible, it is possible. You just need to have operations and alignment within your business so that you can operate that way. Otherwise, eventually it comes to a downfall.
Yo, my SD card's only got like another 10 minutes worth of footage, you know.
Well, hopefully the haircuts can be wrapped up and we can get out of here and get to doing some proper work anyway. Yeah.
Right, guys. Peace.